Hi friends, welcome back. Today we are going to solve Codeforces problem sinking ship. So before we look into the problem description and the solution, I just want to mention that my channel is dedicated to help people in their Java interviews as well as coding interviews. On my channel there are more than 200 solved coding examples which were previously asked problems by big tech companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, and many other big companies. And those are selective problems to cover important coding interview questions variety such as matrix questions, BFS, DFS, graph related questions, as well as binary search tree related questions, dynamic programming questions, as well as binary search related coding interview problems. So if you are preparing for coding interviews or Java interviews or simply learning Java concepts, then please subscribe to this channel now. This channel can definitely be of help in your Java interview preparation, so please subscribe it. So let's look into the problem statement first. The ship crashed into a reef and sinking. Now the entire crew must be evacuated. All N crew members have already lined up in a row. For convenience, let's label them all from left to right with positive integers from 1 to n and await further instructions. However, one should evacuate the crew properly in strict order. Specifically, the first crew members to leave the ships are rats. Then women and children, both groups have the same priority. Leave the ship. After all men will be evacuated from the ship, the captain leaves the sinking ship last. If we cannot determine exactly who should leave the ship first for any two members of the crew by the rules from previous paragraph, then the one who stands to the left in the line leaves the ship first. In other words, the one whose number in the line is less. For each crew member, we know his status as crew member and also his name. All crew members have different names. Determine that order in which to evacuate the crew. So they have given us this input. So as you can see, like the first line says that it's n, which is number of people on the crew, right? So n is 6 is the number of people. Then follow n lines. The ith of those lines contains two words: name of crew member and who is the ith in line, right? His status on the ship. The words are separated by exactly one space. So for example, Jack is captain, then Alice is woman, then Charlie is man, Ted is rat, Bob is child, Julia is woman, right? So all these 6 entries will be given to us afterwards, and we have to output print n lines. Ith of them should contain name of the crew member, right? And since name of the crew member is unique, then there won't be any problem. And who must be the ith one to leave the ship? So we have to follow out like the order in which the people can leave the ship, right? So that is what the problem is. Basically, as they said, they have defined some rules in which order the people should leave the ship, right? So rats are the first one to leave the ship, right? Then women and children will leave the ship after rats, and then men will leave the ship, and at the end captain will leave the ship. So for example, if we go through this one example that they have given us. So first, rat is who is the rat? The Teddy is the rat. So Teddy will leave first, right? Rat is the one who will leave first. After that, women and children. So Alice will leave after that, right? Alice, then Bob and Julia, right? Alice, Bob and Julia, because Alice is a woman, Bob is child, Julia is woman, right? So they will live in this order because they are standing from left to right, right? So leftmost is Jack, then Alice, then Charlie, then Teddy, then Bob, then Julia on the rightmost, right? So women and children will live first. So after rat, right? So Alice, then Bob and Julia, right? So as you can see, Alice, Bob and Julia is living here, and after that men will leave. So Charlie will leave after that, and at the end captain leaves. Captain is Jack, so Jack leaves at the end, right? So we have to find out in which order the people will be leaving from the sinking ship, right? So so as you can see, we have been given this as a input, right? this is the input. So I just took this input in a test file here. So it is the same input that we are going to read in our solution here, right? So I'm just reading it from the test.txt file here, and then we are reading it using buffer reader, right? And then we created a string input, and what we are going to do is we will read this file from this line by line, right? So from here we will know which are the people, right? Here we know the number of people, so here we will know which are the people, right, on the ship. So what we will do is we created a list basically for each of the category, right? So rats has its own list, women children has its own list, men has his own list, and captains has his own list here, right? So when we are reading, we will check if that input contains that specific category, right? If it contains a rat, or then we will, if it contains rat, we will put it into rats list. If it is contains woman or child, then we will put it in women children list, right? If it is contains man, then we will put it in men list. If it contains captain, if the word contains captain, we will put it in captain's list. So in this while loop we will form all the list, right? These all the list will be populated after we read our input from this test file, right? So we will know that each category is given, right? Man, woman, captain, rat, child, all these categories we will read accordingly, and we will populate our list, right? So once our list are populated, what we will do is we will create one string builder instance, and then we will go through each of this list according to the priority. So priority, the most priority is given to rats. So first we will go through the rats list, and we will just append the rat's name here, right? So we are appending rat's name here, right? Because this replace means we are removing this word rat basically, right? So as you can see, we are removing this rat, so what remains is the name Teddy, right? So that's what we are doing here. So similarly, after rats list is done, we will go through women's and children list. And why we are going it? Because that is the next priority, right? So first rats we wanted to evacuate, then women and children we want to evacuate. So we will go through that list, and again we will append those names. If it is woman, then we will append woman's name. If it is child, we will append child names to the string builder here, right? So as you can see, string builder we are using to append it, because we are using string builder because we want to dynamically build the output string, right? Because so basically the string builder is the best class for when we want to dynamically build any strings, right? So we are using string builder, that's why. And after women's and children list is done, then we will go through the men's list, because men's are the next one, right? So first is rats, then it is women's and children, then next is men, right? So we will go through men's list and append that men's names into the string builder, and after that we will lastly go through the captain's list and append the captain's name to the string builder, right? So at this point our string builder is ready, so we will just convert our string builder to string using sb.toString method, and we will just trim it, right? So this is the way we are going to solve this problem. So in this case there is no any kind of sorting or anything required, it's just pure logic. So first we will just populate this list, rats, women and children, men and captains list, by using the input that is given to us in the file. And after that we will just go through each list in the order, right? In the order of priority, like first rats, then women and children, then men, then captains, right? And we will use string builder to create the output string. So let's just take this example and make sure it works fine. So let's just run it. So as you can see, we are getting result Teddy, Alice, Bob, Julia, Charlie, Jack, right? So let me just minimize this result here so we can compare our result here, right? So as you can see, our result is correct, right? Teddy, Alice, Bob, Julia, and Charlie, Jack, So we are getting correct result as a output. So this is the way we can solve the problem sinking ship of Codeforces. This is just by purely by using logic. We just use list, right? We did not use any kind of special data structures or any kind of sorting or anything like that. So as you can see, we just went through the input once. Here we just created list and we just iterated through the list. So basically this is um, you can say like order of n solution, right? Because Even if there are couple of for loops, they are just, if n is the total number of members on the crew, we are just iterating that many times here, right? So for example, 6 are total members here, so we will be total, if you calculate total, we are actually just iterating 6 times here, right? So it is order of n. Time complexity, space complexity, again you can say order of n, because we used a list to store each of the crew members here, so that is again order of n. So both time and space complexity will be order of n for this solution. If you haven't already checked my playlist on my channel, there is a separate dedicated playlist for Leetcode and Leetcode solutions as well as Codeforces. There are over 200 different varieties of problems which are solved and explained in Java, and those were taken from previously asked interviews from Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, and many other big companies. And those are selected problems to constitute important varieties such as dynamic programming, binary search trees, graphs, binary search related coding questions, as well as BFS, DFS, and matrix related interview coding questions are covered there. If you are simply preparing for initial Java telephonic rounds or screening rounds, then there is another playlist called as Java interview, which discusses about frequently asked telephonic questions as well as initial screening questions, and how to approach and answer those questions is also discussed there. So please go through this playlist. This will definitely help you in your Java interview preparation and learning Java better conceptual wise, right? Also, if you find this video helpful, if you like the way it is explained with the example, then please hit subscribe and like it. Your subscription is really important for the channel, because that is the way the video can reach to more people who are preparing for coding interviews or Java interviews or simply learning Java concepts. They can also watch these videos and understand what problems to expect in coding interviews and how to approach those problems, which data structures to use, and how to solve different varieties of problems. So this channel is to help people learning and helping them in their interviews. So please subscribe to this channel. And also, if you like this video, please share it with your friends and colleagues. They can also watch these videos and get helped. And thanks for watching this video.